Hey friends, it's Christy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do another Plan a Card with Me video. You guys seem to really enjoy these, and I'm going to take you through my whole process of coming up with a card idea, figuring out the layout and the different elements, all of the supplies that I'll be using, color palette, any of that good stuff we're going to tackle in today's video. Sometimes when I approach these videos, I have no idea at all of what I want to do. Today I do have a general idea. I know that I would like to do a St. Patrick's Day card if possible. St. Patrick's Day is coming up and I do have a lot of Irish blood in me, and so I do really enjoy that holiday, and I don't think I've ever made a St. Patrick's Day card before, so that was kind of my idea for today. We'll see how it goes, but I'm going to go ahead and sort through some supplies. I have a stamp set in mind in particular, and then we'll figure out the rest of the supplies from there. So let me grab that. So the stamp set that I was thinking of for this particular card is the Hello Bluebird Next Door Gnomes. I think it would be really fun to use this set to create a St. Patrick's Day card and turn one of these little gnomes into a leprechaun. So that's kind of the idea that I had in mind. I haven't chosen which one I want to use or if I'm going to use multiples. I don't really know yet. I just thought that this might be a good set to use. So I have that. And then I also had in mind there is a particular Hello Bluebird die that has a rainbow in the background, and I thought that might be kind of nice to tie in with this stamp set and drive home that St. Patrick's Day theme. And that is going to be the After the Rain scene from Hello Bluebird. So you can see we've got these beautiful clouds and this little rainbow, but I'd like to maybe replace some of these clouds. You don't have to use the whole die as it is. You can take it apart and use different elements from it. So maybe I would still use this cloud up at the top. I'm not really sure, but I'd like to replace the clouds at the bottom with some grass. So the grass that I'm thinking would be one of the grassy knoll dies. So I'm thinking that's what I'm gonna do, but we're gonna lay it all out and see if we can figure out this card together. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up the die first, because I like to use that as a template. So let me grab that and grab a piece of white cardstock to use. Okay, so I like to cut down my cardstock to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So whichever way you turn it, it is the same size as the front of a standard A2 size card. For this particular die, we're going to need to use it in the portrait orientation. So I'll go ahead and lay that down on my work surface. And then I am going to flip the die to the back, because once you die cut the elements, this is the direction that they will be facing. The rainbow would be coming in from the left side and not from the right if you have the die turned over. So that's what we're going to use as kind of like a template to figure things out. Let me just zoom in slightly. That should be a little bit better. So let's take one of these grasses out from the grassy knoll dies. We'll take the curved one. So we would need to have our grass somewhere up in here in this area. So it is a bit of a higher grassy hill, but that's okay. So like I said, I would just not be using the cloud part right there. I might use the one above. I'm not sure about that. It really depends. If I decide not to use this cloud up above, I could always use a cloud stencil or something like that to still add the clouds into the background, but we'll see. So there's our grass. So now we can go ahead and figure out the placement of our images and which images we're going to use. So let me pull those out. And let's see. I don't really want to use the one with the lantern because this is going to be a daytime scene since we've got a rainbow. I don't think I want to use the one with the guitar. I could use the mushroom. The mushroom might be a fun addition to the scene, just to add a little bit of extra scene building there. We could have the rainbow kind of coming down near that, so that might be fun. Do we want a boy and a girl? I don't know. Could do a girl with a... I don't know if I want that mushroom there then. Maybe move it back. We could have the girl standing here at the bottom of the rainbow. And then the guy, maybe the one with his arms spread open, kind of like walking towards her. We could do that. Something like that maybe. What else do we have? I almost feel like I need something in the middle, like maybe some smaller mushrooms. So let me refer to some of my other Hello Bluebird sets and see if there's some smaller mushrooms that I might like to add, or maybe some additional flowers since she's got all of those flowers. Just kind of take a look and see what else I might want to use for scene building. Alright, so I pulled out this Bloom and Grow stamp set from Hello Bluebird. It's got a bunch of different little florals in here, so I wonder if this would work, especially since she's got all those flowers in her hands. Maybe we could put a bunch of flowers there, and we could have another bunch of flowers here, and then they're kind of like gathering up all the flowers. Do I even still want the mushroom in there? I'm not sure. Let me see what it looks like without the big mushroom. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. What else do we have in here? We could add a butterfly. There's a couple good butterflies in this set. We could add one kind of maybe here or here, right above the rainbow. Add maybe a little trail like that. Let's see, we've got another one. Could add over here. There's another little trail. This is a really good spring set, this Bloom and Grow, because it's got so many different spring-like elements between the flowers and the plants and the butterflies. There's even a bee. You know what? I almost like it better without the mushroom. And you know what would be really cool is if I colored all of the flowers in like a golden yellow hue. As if it's like the gold at the end of the rainbow, you know, instead of the pot of gold, it's like a field of golden flowers. That might be something interesting to do, something a little bit different. So, yeah, actually, I think I'm liking this quite a bit. It doesn't necessarily scream St. Patrick's Day, but that could all go in with the color palette, you know, if I color their outfits in different shades of green and stuff like that. What about a sentiment? This one has a Hello Sunshine. I could use that. The Next Door Gnomes has a lot of like gnome phrases, which is nice, but it's not necessarily like a St. Patrick's Day theme. So, you know what? I wonder if there is one set of like sentiments from Hello Bluebird that is all about rainbows. Let me look through my stash and grab that and see if there's something in there that might work for this card. Okay, so that is the rainbow script, and we've got quite a lot of different sentiments that could work. It kind of depends on where we're going to put the sentiment. If we're going to put it down at the bottom, there's not a lot of room. We could put it up here in the sky, but then I would have to lose this cloud formation, like I said, and I'd have to maybe use a stencil instead. Let me see which one we might want to use. You are my rainbow on a cloudy day. When it rains, look for rainbows. You are my sunshine. Wishing you brighter days. Maybe you are my rainbow on a cloudy day. Let's try that one. That one could fit up here if I take out that cloud, like I said. Otherwise, I couldn't stamp it evenly, which is why I would have to remove it. But then I feel like we have so much empty space down here. Maybe I could fit it in down here. It just barely fits. We could move the grass up a little bit higher and add that down at the bottom, and that way I could keep that cloud formation up there. Maybe I would move this stuff up just slightly because I feel like there's a lot of empty space. Could move that butterfly up a little bit. Could move this one up a little bit. How's that looking? I'm still worried that this cloud is going to be a lot of just blank white space, though. That's kind of throwing me a bit. You know what? There is a third butterfly. That Bloom and Grow set. I wonder if we could add a third butterfly up top. Does that look like it's too much, though? With all the... Could put this trail up there. And I could use this one twice. There's only 2 butterfly trails, but I could kind of flip it the other way to make it look different. Oh, there is another butterfly trail. Okay. There is a third one right here. Maybe we'll go this way. Is that too many butterflies? Should we replace one with the bee? The bee is yellow too, so it could kind of go with the theme. Maybe we replace this guy. Let's turn his trail back around this way. And now I feel like there's a lot of empty space down here. So this is the thing with planning out a card idea. It's just a lot of trial and error. You know, you have to play around until you are happy with the look. So let's see, we do have a little tulip here. I could add a tulip, but I don't know if that looks funny because it's all by itself and we have these big bunches and then just a singular flower. What else do we have? We have stuff in pots, but I don't know if that fits the feel. We have this pot here. We could add that. And then we have another little potted flower on this side. But I don't know. The rest of it looks like more like they've stumbled across, you know, just a natural field. And then the potted plants kind of make it look more like a garden. So it depends on the look I'm going for. Let's try, what if I did this little bird instead? I could have a bird on this side down at the bottom, and then there is a worm in this set. Where are you? Here you are. Could have like a worm, but is that too many bugs? And you know, there's not any right or wrong reason. It's all personal preference, but you know, I'm just trying to create the cutest card that I can. All right, let me think for a second and see what I can decide. All right, I hope I'm zoomed in about the same amount. I actually had to change out my battery because my battery was empty. And what I'm thinking is maybe I don't need such a straight line right there. Maybe I can kind of adjust things and move them down and make it look a bit more natural. Maybe if I move these flowers down, and maybe I could move this guy down. They don't all have to be just on a straight line. And then if I still want to use the worm, I can. I could put him there. So the worm and the bird and all this stuff, it doesn't scream St. Patrick's Day, but I kind of like that because I like to go a little bit more subtle on the holidays that aren't typical card giving holidays. So, you know, if it's, yeah, you may have even noticed like in my Valentine card series, I like to create cards that can be given for Valentine's Day, but also could be given for just any occasion that has to do with love, you know, like an anniversary or whatever. And it's the same kind of with this. Like I want to do a St. Patrick's Day card, but it's not going to say Happy St. Patrick's Day. It's just going to have that kind of theme, but could also just be a general spring card, if that makes sense. So it just has more options for giving, you know. You know what? I'm pretty happy with this. I think this is looking good. So I think I'm going to go ahead and grab my phone and take a picture. So let's go ahead and do that. I always take a picture of my card ideas so that I can refer back to it when it comes time to put the card together. So there we go. So now I know exactly where I wanted everything placed. Not that that can't change. Sometimes it does, but sometimes it helps because it can be a few days before I actually get to the creation of the card. So it just kind of refreshes my memory of what my plan was. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp all of these images out. So I've got my Misty out, and it has the Waffle Flower 6x6 grip mat in there so it can really grip a hold of my cardstock panel so I don't have to use any magnets or anything. That works fantastic. So I'm just going to transfer these images over onto this sheet and try to arrange them in a way that leaves plenty of room for die cutting around them. So let's get these flowers in here. We've got the little worm that could probably go somewhere in here. There's another thing of flowers. We've got the little bird. Stamp that. We've got the butterfly and another butterfly and the bee. And that's all we need to stamp because the butterfly trails do not have matching dies, so I can just go ahead and put those back on the little sheet here. Let's get those lined up where they go. And also the sentiment I can go ahead and just put back on the sheet for now because we're not going to stamp that out yet. So I've got all my images ready to go, so I can close the door of my Misty to pick those up. And then I will grab my ink. I use the Lawn Fawn Jet Black ink, so I can go ahead and ink all of these up. Make sure that they are really well covered. And I'll close the door of my Misty, and I'll use my Twiddler's Nook Pressure Pal to make sure I have even coverage. Even pressure. Oh, which we did not. Somehow I missed this little girl's face. There we go. And I always stamp down at least twice. So we'll ink that up again. Make sure I actually ink her face up really well. I might have missed it the first time. And then Close the door of the Misty. Looks like she could just use a little bit extra around her face since it wasn't great the first time, so I'll ink her up there. And that looks much, much better. So I'll go ahead and pull that out. So we've got all of our images stamped and ready to go. So I'm just going to clean these off with my Lawn Fawn stamp chamois, and then I'll be back for the next step. So normally this would be the part of the video where I would choose some pattern paper to use to pull my color palette together. But actually with this particular die, we've only got this very thin little frame around the outside edges. So I think I'm probably just going to use cardstock for that because the space is so thin that you're not going to see much detail in any pattern paper. So I think I will use the brand new Lawn Fawn algae cardstock. I'm not sure if I'll do the frame in the green and then do the card base also in green. I probably will do the card base in green. I might do the frame in white. It's really just going to depend on how the card is looking and the different colors that I use for the rainbow. It is a smaller rainbow. We've only got 3 stripes in this rainbow instead of, you know, the traditional, what is it, like 7 that's in a normal rainbow. So I'll have to be kind of selective of which colors I choose to use for the rainbow. So I'll have to kind of gauge it from there if the frame would look good in green or if I should just keep it white or something like that. But probably the inner card base, I think I'll use this Lawn Fawn algae cardstock. So I'll go ahead and cut up some card bases and get those ready to go for the video. Also, I am not sure, like I said, if I am going to use this cloud formation or if I'm going to want to do just a background with a stencil. So I think I'm going to grab a stencil just to be safe and put it in the pile of supplies. So let me grab that. So I'll probably just use the Lawn Fawn cloudy stencil. That's usually my go-to. And again, I'm not really sure yet if I am going to use the different cloud elements from here. Well, it would actually only be the top one if I use it. So I'm not sure if that would look kind of strange to have only the top cloud formation there and then just like a plain sky. Or if it would be a little bit more seamless to have none of those cloud formations and just do like a stenciled background and layer everything on top. But I'll have this on hand in case, and I can kind of, sometimes you can't really tell until you're actually into the card and you can see how it's coming together, what looks right. So I'll go ahead and set that in my supply pile. So I've gone ahead and cut my cardstock in half at the 4 1/4 mark. So that was one 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock. So it's going to create 2 card bases in the portrait orientation. So I'm just going to score those in half at the 5.5 mark. And then I can fold those and just reinforce the fold to make sure it's nice and tight. And I'm going to do both of them because I like to just keep a bin next to my desk with extra card bases ready to go, so I don't have to cut down cardstock every single time I create a card. So I'll just set this one in there. And if you want to see what that bin looks like, it's in my craft room tour. So if you missed that, you can check out the entire tour of my craft room, which I filmed just a couple months ago. So nothing has changed since then. So anyway, now I have got all of my supplies off to the side and ready to go. I've got my card base, I've got my stencil, I've got my stamp sets there and my sentiment stamp set. I've got my dies. Everything is going to go right in this little bundle. I'll put my card base there and also my stamped images. So I have everything ready to go to film the completion video. So this video will be going up Monday, March 11th, and then the completion video, part 2, will be up Friday the 15th. So stay tuned for that. Even if you're somebody that's not that into St. Patrick's Day, I think you're still going to enjoy the video because, like I said, it's not going to be super St. Patrick's Day. It's just going to have a subtle nod to it, but it could definitely just work as a spring card. So you can always just change up a few little things. If you want to do something a little bit different, you could color their outfits in a different color, whatever. So anyway, that's it for today. It's going to be a little bit of a shorter video because we didn't pick out pattern paper or color palette. But like I said, it's going to be predominantly green with some accents of gold and the rainbow. So there's not really a color palette to pick out. It's kind of inherent in the idea for this concept. But anyway, that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and you can leave me a comment down below. You can also suggest future video ideas. I am always open to new suggestions, so feel free, and I'll see you guys soon in another video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.